Welcome, everyone. All right, let's just dive right into today's explainer, because we're about to embark on something really special. We're doing a visual darshana, which is basically a sacred, auspicious glimpse into one of the most revered texts in ancient philosophy, the Vishnu Sahasranama. But hey, instead of just reading through a list of ancient chants, we're going to actually watch them take shape. We're mapping these thousand sacred names of Lord Vishnu directly to his absolutely majestic visual forms. So get ready, because this ancient text is about to come alive right before your eyes.
Right off the bat, we're immersing ourselves in the deep, stellar blues of the cosmos. I mean, look at this. This is where our whole journey begins, with Vishnu's absolute, infinite resting state out in the celestial ocean. Before creation, before time itself even existed. There's just this profound, limitless tranquility. It's such a wild contrast to the crazy chaos of our everyday lives, right? Honestly, you can almost feel the absolute silence of the universe just looking at it.
And that insane visual vastness, it's anchored perfectly by the very opening sloka of our source text. It goes, Vishwam Vishnu Vashatkarohu, Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu. Basically, this translates to, He who is the universe, the master of past, present, and future. See, the text isn't just praising some distant, abstract deity. It's establishing this mind-bending realization that the Lord literally encompasses all of creation and time itself. Like everything you see around you and everything you will ever see is contained entirely within him.
Section 1. The Cosmic Supreme. Understanding the Macrocosm.
So to really grasp the sheer scale of the Sahasranama, we've got to start large. We have to look at the grand universal scale of the divine before we even think about moving into his earthly appearances. Take a look at the fascinating contrast between these two gorgeous depictions of Anantashayana, which is the reclining cosmic form. On the left, we've got him in deep, solitary meditation, just totally self-contained. But then on the right, the imagery totally expands. He's resting peacefully alongside goddess Lakshmi, right there amidst the cosmic waters. And she represents prosperity and the active energy of the universe, which is literally the perfect complement to his serene foundation.
Now, the really crucial thing here is understanding what exactly he's resting on. This right here is Ananta Shesha, the divine multi-headed serpent of infinity. Those huge coils of the serpent actually represent the endless, cyclical nature of time itself. So when we hear names chanted in the text, like Anadi Nidana, which means the one without beginning or end, this is exactly the visual the text wants you to be holding in your head. It's endless time literally supporting the Supreme Being.
Section 2. Flight of the Divine. The Transition to Action.
Okay, so now we're shifting gears from that super tranquil, infinite resting state into a highly dynamic, active presence. Because, let's face it, the universe doesn't just need rest, it needs protection and action. And boom, here is that massive, sudden escalation of power. The divine takes flight. We've got Vishnu and Lakshmi soaring through the clouds on the majestic celestial eagle, Garuda. I mean, just look at that wingspan and the sheer forward momentum. We're definitely not in the quiet ocean anymore. This is the supreme protector, actively moving through the cosmos, completely ready to intervene and uphold the balance of the whole universe.
And our source excerpts perfectly capture this boundless energy. When you see him soaring on Garuda like that, think of these specific names from the chant. We have Vikrama, the victorious, the one with an invincible stride. Then Mahabala, the one of immense, supreme strength. There's Suresha, the Lord of the Gods, and Prabhurishwara, the Supreme Lord. These aren't just empty titles, folks. They are literal verbal expressions of the sheer kinetic energy and total authority you're seeing in his flight.
That brings us to Section 3, the avatars of Vishnu. The divine becomes accessible.
But here's the thing, the Sahasranama doesn't just leave the divine floating up there in the clouds. How does infinite, macrocosmic power actually rein itself in and intentionally limit itself? Well, through avatars. The Supreme deliberately takes on these highly accessible microcosmic earthly forms to restore balance exactly when and where it's needed. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates the incredible duality of these earthly incarnations. Just look at this totally stark contrast. On one side, we have the fierce, terrifying, literally disemboweling fury of Narasimha, the half-man, half-lion avatar bursting from a pillar to protect his devotee. It is just pure, raw, unapologetic power. But then, right next to it, we have the gentle, serene, flute-playing Krishna, just hanging out peacefully with a cow. It's the exact same Supreme Being, expressing completely opposite emotional realities. Mind-blowing, right?
Let's actually anchor that joyful side with a specific sloka from our text. It says, Aniruddha Suranando Govindo Govidampati. The Sahasranama calls him Govinda, the ultimate protector of the cows, and Suranando, which is the unstoppable bringer of joy. So when you're gazing at Krishna's serene face, you aren't just looking at a pretty picture. You are looking directly at the literal joy that those ancient sages were singing about. So, moving from joy, we step right into duty. Here we're focusing on another universally beloved avatar that's so vividly represented in our sources, Sri Rama. Just look at his posture here. He is totally poised, bow in hand, standing as the absolute embodiment of Dharma, of complete righteousness. He's the ideal king, the ideal son. He's the one who intentionally binds himself to the strict rules of earthly morality just to show humanity the way.
And you know, the text praises him so beautifully for this exact reason. Ramo Varamo Virajo Margo Neo Nayo Naya. The Sahasranama tells us that Rama is way more than just a historical king. He is Viramo, the ultimate resting place for the mind, and Margo, the very path of righteousness itself. It's like he's both the journey and the destination all rolled into one.
Which leads us to our final part, Section 4, the ultimate refuge from cosmic to sanctuary. Okay, so we've seen the mind-bending cosmic vastness, the soaring action, and those incredibly dynamic avatars. Now all of this brings us down to a totally grounded sanctuary. Here we see Sri Venkateshwara, a truly majestic temple deity. This is where all those soaring cosmic heights and hyperactive avatars consolidate into a single, totally accessible form that's worshipped by millions of people today. He's standing firmly on the earth, adorned in gold, just waiting patiently to receive the prayers of anyone who's seeking a little comfort.
And hey, if you look really closely at the iconography in these temple forms, you're going to see these very specific sacred symbols. We have the radiant U-shaped Nama, the Shankha, which is the conch, and the chakra, the discus. Our text explicitly maps to these symbols too, calling him Shankha Brunandaki Chakri, the bearer of the conch, the mace, and the cosmic discus. So, those visual symbols, they are the direct, physical manifestations of the very words being chanted.
So, why do devotees constantly seek out these symbols in a specific form? Well, the Sahasranama actually provides the answer right here. Sureshar Sharanam Sharma Vishwareta Prajabhavaha. I really want you to focus on those two words, Sharnam Sharma. Because after all that immense cosmic power we talked about, and after the fierce, roaring fury of avatars like Narasimha, the text promises that he's ultimately your Sharanam, your ultimate refuge, and Sharma, supreme lasting peace. It's a pretty incredible promise.
Here, in this final, incredibly radiant form of Vishnu and Lakshmi bestowing their grace, we can kind of take a breath and reflect on our journey through this explainer today. We've seen just how beautifully, and honestly how seamlessly, the ancient chants of the Vishnu Sahasranama map directly to these vivid, enduring visual forms. I mean, from the infinite coils of time holding up the universe, right down to the sweet smile of a flute player, the text and the imagery are literally one and the same. It's this massive, beautiful tapestry of power, joy, and peace.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. We've traversed all the way from the vast, totally silent cosmic ocean, right down to the joyful protector and the grounded temple sanctuary. Take a second and look inward. Which of these visual manifestations, which of these ancient names resonates most deeply with your own life's journey right now? It's something to think about. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Until next time, keep learning and keep looking deeper.